Yesterday was a major day for the Didnt's global server, and it was so major that a lot of players got banned out of it. So what's the reason behind it? Just a TLDR for those of you guys who are unaware of the situation. What happened was actually the code Heavenhold, which provided 300 coffee, was claimable within the Asia server. However, due to some technical difficulties, players were able to claim the code multiple times, in fact an unlimited amount of times. So many players were able to claim a lot of coffee from this code, and some players claim a few hundred, some players claim a few thousand, and to the extreme we have people claiming 10, 20 and even 90,000 coffee, which is pretty insane in my opinion. First, let's answer the reason why there was a difference in terms of code syncing between the Asia side compared to the EU, NA, LA and Oceania server. The main reason behind this discrepancy is because the main publisher or the company in charge of publishing all this code as well as managing the server is different between the few regions. So for the Asia side, right, it's actually ran by this company known as Glowhole, which is like a subcontracted publisher to Kakao Games to be in charge of publishing the game on the Asia side and managing the game on the Asia side. And the remaining of the servers are actually ran by Kakao Games directly with their different headquarters around the globe. And correct me if I'm wrong on this one, but from what I heard, basically what happens with the codes or what happens with the different events and stuff is that the codes or the events are posted directly by Kakao Games from their various headquarters, and then they will inform Glowhole to do the subsequent adjustments to the Asia server. And that is the basic summary of why there's a discrepancy between the Asia side as compared to the other servers within the global server. So as a content creator, I cannot really explain the technical side of the codes for Glowhole games. However, if there's any staff watching this video and is keen to discuss the topic with me or let me know more about it, do feel free to contact me. But basically, there was an error in terms of technical side from Glowhole and players abused it and got a lot of coffee, which is an important resource in the game, out of it. And they got banned for really like claiming all these codes. Who is at fault in this whole saga? Well, there's a few things I'd like to point out. Number one, there was no specific terms and regulations stating that the players could only claim the code one time. So technically the players could claim the codes more than one time, and the onus is on the publishers to make sure that the players could only input the code once. And this whole saga is definitely a negligence on the publisher's end, and there's no denying about it. And in case you guys think that I'm salty because I got banned, the answer is I didn't even use the code. Because by the time I discovered about the code Heavenhold, the code has already been deactivated. So you guys have seen my video about the code yesterday. Some people told me Heavenhold could work, but by the time I wanted to try it, it has already been deactivated. So I was fortunate that I didn't key in, so I didn't get banned, right? And I was not so fortunate because I didn't get to benefit from this spamming of coffee saga. And moving on to the next topic on whether or not the banning of the players are justified, the answer on my side is definitely a yes. So there's a few reasons to it, and let me explain why. And the first reason is definitely the financial aspects of the game. Let's say if we take 300 coffee to the stamina pack within the game, the 500 stamina equates to 15 Sing dollars on my end, and 300 stamina roughly equates to $9 in terms of monetary value. So every one claim from the 300 coffee code, the company is actively losing $9. And during the whole saga, some players claim a few thousands, some claim 20 to 30,000 and even 90,000 to the extreme. And there is definitely a lot of players who actually abuse the code. So you guys can imagine the monetary value or the potential revenue loss on the publisher's end. And in case you guys are complaining or like angry because, oh wait, it's the publisher's negligence for having this code error, right? Why are the players getting punished for it? This brings me to my second point, the unfair advantage that was brought about by this code against other players. So coffee is an important resource within the game. You can actually buy coffee with real money, therefore there's some monetary value to this coffee. And let's say if we convert coffee in terms of other resources, you can use coffee to farm gold, you can use coffee to farm EXP, you can use coffee to farm for hero crystals by simply farming your character evolution dungeon. And so players who were able to claim tons of coffees, those claiming 20, 30,000 coffees, were able to use it within the dungeons to get millions of golds or thousands of hero crystal. So this game has this limiting mechanics where the amount of resource you can get is determined by the amount of coffee you have in storage or the amount of coffee you have access to. So players who abuse this exploit definitely gain more resources compared to the many other players who didn't know about the existence of this bug or didn't even use it because they think that it's wrong morally. And my last and final point about this banning thing is definitely for the longevity of the game. Other than the financial damage that was caused, other than answering to the players who did not abuse this bug, the idea of imposing a ban is also for the future of the game, because this is a sign or a stand from the publishers about all the bug abusers, all the hackers, all the players that's trying to play the system in order to win over other players. So this whole banning thing is an assurance from the publishers to the player base that they will ensure a fair gaming environment for all and that the game is here to last in the long run. And as I was editing this video, I can actually picture some whiners out there who will say that, hey, you know, it's your fault for not knowing about the bug, right? How is it my fault for using it? Because it's unfair advantage. Just imagine this. If you are the one that did not benefit from this code, whereas your other players who you're competing against or who you're having like a friendly competition against actually abused it. So it's in the mentality of the players, and it was definitely unfair to those players who did not use the code at all. And I can also picture some people actually talking about, hey, you know, 30,000 coffee for a 3-day ban, it doesn't seem so bad, right? Because 30,000 coffee is definitely worth the 3 days worth of coffee as well as resources. And I think the 3 days ban is more than just a warning to the players. It's also for the publishers to actually track on all the resources usage so they can do the appropriate resource crawling or the rolling back of the account based on the coffee use, because different accounts has different circumstances. Some player claim the code and use it, some player claim a lot of code and store it in their mailbox. This is actually like a project recovery kind of thing from the publishers, and this 3-day ban is relatively fair, it's relatively reasonable. And even though I cannot confirm whether or not the rollback will happen, I sincerely hope that it does, because it's really unfair for people who actually spend in the game, because all this coffee worth thousands of dollars, and for people to not pay anything for all these resources, it will cause a very bad image for people who really want to spend in the game. And just to conclude for you guys, I definitely feel that this whole saga was the fault on the publisher's end, but I think the action is definitely warranted for to ensure that this game is successful in the long run. So that's it, that's my take for this whole saga. Do let me know down in the comment section below what do you think about this, whether or not you got banned, whether or not you claim anything from this code issue. And thank you very much for watching. Do remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys again in my next video. Bye guys.